5 Live, even as COVID-19 is fading, a new study tells us what else is hiding down in the subways. And no, it's not Metro riders.
Certainly not.
Nope.
And today, Astros, Dodgers, and Streakers in Sam's Big Daily Sports Minute.
That's
fun.
Yeah, are you excited?
Oh, you bet I am.
Okay, all right. It is the 27th of May, 2021, and 5 Live starts right. Look over there.
It starts right now.
From KTLA 5 Live Studios in the Glenn Walker Empire. The entire universe now
thing.
named after him.
Yes.
This is KTLA 5 Live. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andy Reesmeyer.
I'm Samantha Cortese. You can find us on social media. Andy made it easy for you at Andy KTLA on both Twitter and Instagram. But
That's right.
mine's first name, last name on Twitter at KTLA Sam. Sounds like Bobby is back on Tuesday with the rest of us, so you can find him there. But Just Rob 101 is standing by.
What's up, guys? Happy today's Thursday. Happy Baby Friday, Mini Friday. I'm really excited for what the coming weeks. We got National Donut Week coming up. We got some pottery coming up, guys. We got some pretty good shows coming up. Can't wait. We're gonna recreate the ghost scene that you guys all love and know. So I'm looking forward to that. We have a good show today, and we have a good show coming up in the coming weeks, guys.
It's gonna be you and me, and I'm gonna be in front or behind, or how's it? How's it stack up?
Whatever. We could alternate, buddy. We could alternate. So.
Okay. We would love for you to say hello. Also, facebook.com/group/KTLA5Live is the place where you can connect with us, and we will read some of your comments on the air later in the show. But it almost feels like deja vu, doesn't it?
It does. Oh, are you singing Olivia Rodrigo?
I am.
I am too, nonstop. My
Yeah.
friend's like, I need her to come out with sweet because I've already learned sour, all of it. Real quick, I was going to say on the Facebook group, I invited, there are changes to the groups. Facebook's changing public groups. So it gave me the option to ask or to invite all of my page followers to join the group. So there was.
Did they?
A lot of them did.
Oh,
We got
good.
more than 1,000 additions to the Facebook group in the last 24 hours or so. So thank you to everyone who's joined.
That's
and if you
awesome.
watch, we appreciate it so much. I put a link to the rules because people tend to comment about other things on KTLA, but with 15,000 people, we can't have all the broadcast comments. It's just for the show.
So we got your fan page. We got
Yeah.
Robert's only fan page.
Yep.
Yes.
And then I guess we'll just shout out on a Sunset Boulevard for people to come and try to join our group.
Honestly, probably the most effective marketing than all of our
Guerrilla
social
marketing,
media.
yo.
Indeed.
agree.
It's funny because someone this morning was talking, well, they were criticizing us for something that happened on the broadcast this morning. And Lynn, I believe, got
They
one of
were
our viewers-
criticizing the broadcast. They weren't criticizing
they were
us.
criticizing us specifically because we had nothing to do with it.
Right.
But somebody on there on the Facebook group was saying, hey, this thing I saw on TV, I'm upset about. And one of our viewers, a longtime member of the group, Lynn Taylor, said, hey, no, this is for that. And the person was like, oh, well, there's no signage that says this is that group. So, and I was like,
actually-
you answered the rules to join this group.
Yeah. And not to actually, but you did. There are 6 rules. We make it really easy. Just be nice. Just be nice and only talk about our show. We really appreciate
Or
it.
it could have been one that I accidentally let in without.
Andy's done
many
them. We have
ago.
770, maybe 800 people waiting to get in the group, but they haven't agreed to the rules. So if you're not in the group yet, maybe that's why. Every now and then, Andy will just accept all.
I accidentally did it. I accidentally did it. I did a few times. I'm very bad at internet. Anyway, here we are, deja vu. Multiple reports say President Biden is planning to name LA Mayor Eric Garcetti as ambassador to India. We said it yesterday. But responding to the news this morning, Eric Garcetti said, quote, I don't have anything to announce, but if it comes along, I'll be letting you know.
Oh, okay.
Should the mayor accept the high-profile position, he'll be the administration's point man to a country still dealing with a massive, deadly outbreak of COVID-19. Garcetti was floated as a possible cabinet secretary, but took himself out of consideration last year, citing the COVID emergency in Los Angeles. I guess it was earlier this year. If he steps down as mayor, there could be a special election for his replacement.
And if he doesn't step down, say he doesn't end up going about it, he's still gonna get termed out, right?
Yeah,
His
2022.
Still done. Yeah. Okay. All right. Our beloved mayor, man.
Our beloved mayor man?
I do love my mailman.
Yeah. I like my
Our
John
mayor
Mayer man,
Yeah, our
John
John
who
Mayer
is
man.
just John Mayer. His body is a wonderland.
Oh my goodness. But that sparked political conversation in the Facebook group yesterday, which is a no-no as of rule number 6.
Yes.
So
Sam loves her rules.
You know me. No, I just like to keep it apolitical, and I think people enjoy that about our show, that we're not a cable news network.
Maybe we create a separate Facebook 5 Live group
we can
for all
talk
politics.
crypto, OnlyFans, and politics.
You can go ahead and run that one. I want nothing to do with it. We are learning new details about the man accused of shooting at cars on the 91 with a BB gun. As we reported yesterday, 34-year-old Jesse Rodriguez was arrested Tuesday night by the CHP in Riverside. He is suspected of shooting out several car windows on the 91 freeway.
Man, that is a full adult. That is a full adult. 34 years old. Not some kid, not some goobery teenager with a BB gun. That is a person who should know better.
Investigators say they tracked down Rodriguez because the victims identified his car. And now some of Rodriguez's neighbors in Anaheim are talking to the media, saying he's been terrorizing them for months, shooting at them, their homes, and their cars with a BB gun.
He kept shooting the windows of the cars all the time. We called the cops on him because he was running my dad's car, inside my dad's car. And it's a big problem. He broke almost 14 or 15 windows.
What a bunch of crap, man. You know how much money it costs to replace a window, and just it's so pointless.
This dude cannot be all there. I mean, we're the level of sustained psychotic behavior.
Yeah, definitely.
There he is. The CHP says he may be one of the possible suspects behind a string of more than 100 pellet or BB gun shootings. Right now, Rodriguez is facing charges of assault with a deadly weapon.
10 months after a crash that killed a Redondo Beach woman, an off-duty LA County Sheriff's deputy is now facing murder charges. 23.
However, but I would join if there.
Daniel Ayunar was charged yesterday with felony counts of murder and reckless driving. He's 23. Prosecutors say he crashed his car into a traffic pole last summer, killing 23-year-old Ashley Wells, who was riding with him. Wells' parents say that he had been drinking before he got behind the wheel, and they have video from their daughter's cell phone as proof. 2 other passengers in the car suffered serious injuries. Wells' parents filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Ayunar.
Terrible.
Developing news, the city of Compton has filed a lawsuit accusing the LA County Sheriff's Department of fraud with damages in the millions. The suit filed yesterday claims the Sheriff's Department is charging the city for patrols that never happened, and it accuses deputies of making fraudulent overtime claims. The city of Compton has law enforcement contracts with the Sheriff's Department after disbanding its own police department 21 years ago. Sheriff Alex Villanueva says the department is doing an audit and will take action based on those results.
President Biden has ordered a closer review of the origins of COVID-19. In, I think, what feels like the second story of the day that we've done, that's deja vu, here we are again. He's giving the intelligence community 90 days to assess whether the virus emerged from human contact with an infected animal or from a lab accident. In a big reversal for the White House, the president now saying that both are, quote, equally plausible scenarios.
Great.
The idea that the virus was man-made and escaped from a virology lab in Wuhan has gained more mainstream attention after the recent revelation that 3 lab workers were hospitalized in November of 2019 with symptoms similar to COVID-19. The WHO maintains the virus most likely came from an animal host at a wet market, but scientists still have not found any proof of that. Does it feel like maybe we won't really ever know?
Of course not. Oh, yeah. Hey, CCP, can you please cooperate with us?
Well, I mean, even like the saying, like, hey, 100 days from now, by the way, loves 100 days. Was that we say it was 100 days?
Why is that always a marker?
I don't know. Was it 90
days.
or 100 days that he gave for this? I know I literally just read it, but I don't remember what I said. But it's some amount of time that, is essentially arbitrary, but it's saying, look, this is important. We got to figure out why this happened. And as we discussed before, I guess if they figure out if it was at a wet market or if it was at a lab, that sort of, I guess, gives us an indication on if this could happen again, where it would come from.
Yeah.
If we find out whether it was through a wet market or in the lab, would that change human nature? People are still going to, at least over there on that side of the world, I'm pretty sure they're still going to want to run their experiments, still going to want to figure out what viruses they can utilize as weapons or what have you. I'm sure that's not going to, the United States is not going to interfere with any of that, I'm sure.
I don't think it's fair to say that China is just like doing experiments to create biological weapons. I think that any developed nation is going to probably research diseases and stuff like that. Whether or not they created COVID-19, we don't know, right? We can't, we don't know yet. But if it comes out that like they created COVID-19 and it was intended for a biological weapon and it accidentally leaked, yeah, I think that it has huge implications. But I don't think anybody out there is like really trying to create major biological weapons.
I don't know. I just think people want accountability and they want to know if it was leaked because of whatever reason or if it was in nature. But the last administration made this accusation, maybe is not the right word I'm looking for, but brought this up as a topic of conversation that, hey, we think this came out and you should see if you
tinfoil hats.
Yeah, go look at the articles from a lot of major news networks with no proof, so-and-so with the blank administration. Like, I'm not trying to trigger anybody's I don't know, PTSD or anything.
It is funny that now this is a legitimate thing that we can actually talk about or be concerned about,
Yeah,
whereas
but
before
6
it felt
months
like
ago, it
if
was
we had
like,
even come on
look,
this show
yeah.
and said something like that, people
Yeah.
would have lit us up.
Yes,
Yeah.
but they shouldn't have.
No,
That's
because
the
but we
point.
live in, you know,
we're in politic world where
Oh.
it depends on where you fall, like what's okay to talk about
isn't
and
it?
what's not. And that's
not
absurd.
More than that, anything that exists that's normal, it is now sport for people on the internet, people in media, wherever, to try to find that thing that you like and make sure that it's somehow a problem.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
I love the little cartoon where they pinch the mouth closed and go, shh, let people enjoy things. Let people enjoy things. I'm not saying that atrocities should be okay, but if there's
or even
something
just
you really just
explore an
like,
idea.
Yes.
Just for the purpose of discourse,
Right,
of
or
trying to find the
discussing,
truth.
yes.
Like, because what we don't want to do is have a society where we're so afraid to talk about things
Right.
that we end up actually obfuscating the truth, and we cover up the reality of it because we're concerned about some other possible, I don't know, blowback.
Right. It's just absurd.
I can't hardly even say the sentence without feeling like I'm gonna get in trouble.
But even what you just said, Sam, about accountability, well, what accountability can we place on if it did come from a lab in China upon that? We're going to say, okay, now pay the equivalent of, I don't know, $1 billion for what the
damages.
I don't
Who
think
knows?
that's plausible.
But
It's just,
imagine if this had leaked from a United States lab, what the reaction would be. It would be, you should have been more careful. This should never have happened. You owe us billions of dollars for shutting down our economy for months. I'm not saying we're ever going to see $1 if this is proved to come from a lab, but I think it is important to look at where it came from and hold somebody or something accountable.
And I think we all don't want it to happen again. And if there's a way to keep, the proverbial plane from crashing, if it was the engines and the ducks flew into the engines, let's find a way to not fly into the ducks anymore.
well, we have to get Sully in that situation.
and I just thought about this when you said, imagine if this happened in America, all over the West Coast, mostly up in the Malibu area and the Palisades, attorneys who are working from home all looked up from their gilded iPads and said, "Oh, that sounds like something for me."
Yes. And you'll see a commercial for it in 30 years.
That's right.
During daytime television.
Will we be here? Oh, I hope.
Was
Skid
your
Row-
lab behind the...
No.
Were you exposed to a weed killer in 1965?
I went down kind of a rabbit hole today. Sorry, I know we're getting off topic here. I went down a rabbit hole today on Snopes.com, which remember is like the internet's oldest website for debunking conspiracy theories.
Yes.
They themselves also, unfortunately, have found themselves in the center of some conspiracy theories,
Yes.
ironically. But regardless, I think it's generally considered that Snopes does a pretty good job of identifying and fact-checking stories that are outlandish. It amazes me how many crazy things people believe that I don't even know about, how many conspiracy theories are out there about pretty much anything and everything, but also how some of them are true.
Like what?
There's a dam in China that if it pumps enough water into it, it could change the rotation of the Earth. That's a real thing, actually. By like a couple microseconds. Don't worry, everybody, it's all fine. But that from things to where,
Do you still have tinfoil in the break room?
Do I have foil paper in the break room? Yes, I believe so.
We should craft when we're making our pottery for that upcoming segment, we will also craft our little hats.
You know what I also heard could stop the rotation of the Earth?
What?
If on an internet news talk show,
We didn't drone
somebody
on about
no. Continue. Somebody wore camo and somebody wore plaid.
Sir, I said it on the air yesterday. I'm wearing camo tomorrow.
I'm so
Please
sorry.
wear something accordingly. It's not really camo.
I
I,
thought
just
you
wanted
were-
you to know the color scheme.
I thought you were joking, because like that's crazy. And secondly, you know me. You know I don't have any camo. You know
I don't want you to. Wearing camo when I wear camo is worse.
What does that mean? But you're gonna
Just
be
wear
in,
black, green,
See,
blue, white, solid. I said solid.
Could have been desert camo. Could have been snow camo. Also, you could argue you're wearing camo. You blend in with the background. I can wear whatever I want.
Yeah, I'm invisible from here down.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm the John Cena.
Uh-oh.
So sorry.
Speaking of
Sorry, China. So sorry, China. Honestly, the only thing worth noting about that spineless apology, that he spoke Mandarin. Very impressive.
Pretty interesting.
Pretty impressive. Pretty
Okay.
impressive. Thank you for wearing plaid.
Sorry.
Literally plaid.
I'm sorry.
Could be tartan. I can't tell the that's
Yeah,
plaid.
get on that Facebook group and tell us what I'm wearing.
No, it's not gingham. I said it because I knew. I'm like, what are the chances Andy wears something patterned tomorrow? Thank you, Robert, for wearing something accordingly.
I wear that like every day. But the problem that I'm running into is our set is so blue. If I wear, most of all my clothes are the color of the wall. And so if I wear anything, this is fascinating. I know you're so interested.
So fascinating.
If I'll just be the color of the set. And so I'm having trouble. Anyway, Skid Row has the largest concentration of homeless people in all of LA County, with hundreds of people living in tents lining dozens of blocks in the downtown area.
KTLA's Lauren Lister introduces us to a man who's dedicated his life to helping those in need, and he paid a hefty personal price for his compassion.
In the City of Angels, Skid Row, described as a hell on earth.
A huge section of LA is an absolute horror story for those people who are suffering on the streets.
For 16 years, Reverend Andy Bales has been on the front lines here, leading the Union Rescue Mission, which offers services and shelter in the midst of the devastation.
Skid Row is the biggest man-made disaster in the United States by far. Nowhere else will you find 5,000 people living on the streets in a 53 square block area.
Homelessness in LA County has been increasing by double digits, but this downtown LA neighborhood, long the epicenter. Tent after tent lining street after street, persisting for decades. Outside the mission, 26-year-old Dino Brockenberry says he fell out of drug treatment and would get off Skid Row if he could just get back home to West Virginia.
You would say, hey, here's a bus ticket home. Man, I'll be gone.
45-year-old Keisha Jones is from LA and says she's been on the streets here since a drug relapse.
I've only been out 2 years, which is too long, because a whole lot of things have happened. I'm blind now.
Hi, morning.
Reverend Bales has experienced Skid Row's hazards firsthand, with bathrooms scarce and lack of sanitation on the streets. In 2014, he got a serious infection.
I stepped in human waste on Skid Row and got flesh-eating disease.
It required amputation.
The right leg I can directly attribute from working on Skid Row.
Years later, he lost the left leg. His focus, though, is on the struggles he sees outside the mission's doors and the overall lack of enough solutions, especially shelter.
There are not enough beds for everybody by any stretch of the imagination.
Compounding the problem, on average each day, while over 200 people get out of homelessness, over 220 more fall into it. Reverend Bales charges
The biggest reason is the lack of urgency, the lack of a FEMA-like urgent approach. You have no excuse for leaving so many people out on the streets for so long.
In April, a federal judge ordered LA to offer shelter to all the unhoused on Skid Row by fall. The city and county are appealing. Bales applauds the order.
Here we have a judge proposing a roof over everybody's heads on Skid Row. Immediate, what we've been praying for so long.
Keisha Jones isn't sure she'd accept help, but says enough beds for those in need is ideal.
It is best for everybody, but you have to desire it. You can't just, because my addiction is way stronger than me.
You want a cup of coffee?
And Reverend Bales is still positive about the change possible even on the streets that disabled him. That's a huge price to pay.
I still have great hope in that dream that one day there won't be one precious human being left on the streets of Skid Row.
In downtown LA, I'm Lauren Lister, KTLA 5 News.
And related to that, a federal judge overseeing LA's response to the homeless crisis is expected to hold a hearing today. Hold a hearing today, you can find that at KTLA.com, about how the city and county will pay for shelter and services. Judge David Carter criticized local government yesterday, saying progress has been too slow to find shelter for people living near freeways. A lawsuit was filed last year by a group of business owners, residents, and community leaders, accusing the city and county of failing to tackle the crisis. Under an agreement reached last June, the city and county vowed to make 6,700 shelter beds available within 18 months. The group said when they filed the suit, LA Alliance for Human Rights says at least 1,300 beds have been made available, but only 400 were provided for people who live near freeways or are 65 or older. It's insane that it's sad that we're talking about that amount, and it sounds like a lot of people. When you have 68,000 homeless in the county, it's like...
this is what I was asking Lauren yesterday, is all these plans, obviously, from the state down, from Governor Gavin Newsom down, focus on getting people housing, right? And sure, that's part of the problem. That's the absolute predominant focus. And when you talk about how much housing has actually been given over the course of these billions of dollars that have been spent over the past couple of years, you think about, in LA County alone, 70,000 people are we making a dent. And it's horrifying.
Like, look what happens when somebody proposes an idea for 6,700 shelter beds, and they have 18 months to do it. The county vowed to make those shelter beds available.
10%.
And we're still
400.
Only 400 were provided.
400 provided, and then how
what
many?
A failure.
I know. I don't know what we're doing. Yeah. If that happened in the private sector, we would all have lost our jobs.
I know.
Like if I was that bad at my job every single day.
Yes.
And some say I may be, and I just fly under the radar enough, I wouldn't have a job. It's just the way it is. And I don't know what you do about it. And
Sports analogy: if a coach was that bad, wouldn't have a job.
Oh, right
next
away.
Year.
Yeah.
What do they do?
I don't know. They yell at guys in little shorts on a football.
Oh, that's Robert. We'd be into that.
Oh, the
right?
basketball of the old days, their shorts were so tiny. It was the best.
Well, I don't know if you guys remember earlier this year, a fan would have to remind me, if a ball, uniform is the player, right? So if a ball touches a uniform and then goes out of bounds, it's on that player. It's out on that player. Okay. The shorts were a little loose, and a ball during a game, basketball during a game, bounced, hit the shorts, and went out. And it was like, just barely touched the shorts. And it started the conversation, are short shorts gonna come back in? Because if he was not wearing such baggy or long shorts, ball would have been out on the other team.
They were a really hot thing back then. I don't know.
Are you commentating hot as in sexy hot or hot as in popular hot?
Sexy hot.
All right.
Yeah.
Now I know why you're working on those thighs.
Well, it is not surprising, but probably not what you want to hear. Forget COVID-19. Public transit like subways and metro rail across the world are straight up teeming with viruses, bacteria, and other microbes.
Oh, come on.
A study over 3 years mapped the microorganisms from subways from 60 countries, part of an effort to understand who is riding the trains with us. I don't know about you, but they sound like a bunch of freeloaders looking for handouts, if you ask me. The project called Metasub found more than 4,000 known species of microbes they already knew about, and 31 that were universal to subway environments. They also found an incredibly high percentage of dance crews that just need your attention for a couple of minutes. But get this, there were nearly 11,000 viruses they had never seen before, and 750 bacteria that no one had ever documented on the trains. Some of them even had the ability to help bacteria resist antibiotics. Yikes. Yikes. But before you lose your lunch and never take it on the train again, the good news is most of these germy crawly grossies aren't really harmful to us. Seems like on the metro, you're more likely to fall victim of being late for work than getting sick from the train.
Oh, good. So you scared us just to tell us. Thanks, news. You're probably fine.
You're probably gonna be okay, but who knows?
Well,
you never know.
Didn't penicillin come about because they noticed the way that the bacteria were reacting when left out on a petri dish?
Yeah, so in a way, public transit in Los Angeles, though it might not be effective of getting us around,
Still
taking
a
us from
petri
where it doubles as a real life living laboratory where maybe potentially someday all of the gross diseases will give us something like the miracle of penicillin.
Great.
Okay.
A lawsuit is launched after the recent discovery of up to 500,000 barrels of toxic waste near Catalina Island. The lawsuit, you may have heard about this whole story many months ago when they kept finding DDT in the ocean. Now there's a lawsuit about it. The Center for Biological Diversity announced Montrose Chemical Corporation and its parent company Bayer today are suing the companies to take responsibility for the toxic threat to the public health and wildlife. A previous legal battle years ago found the Montrose Chemical Corporation dumped millions of pounds of DDT into county sewers from the 40s to the 70s. Researchers believe this is the company's second dump site. Use of the insecticide was banned in 1972.
They found all these sea creatures, right? The LA Times investigation. They looked into it and they found all these sea lions that had, or seals and stuff like that, that had developed cancers at really, really high rates. And it was because they were eating in the ecosystem in between Catalina and Rancho Palos Verdes. And all of that was pretty much underwater, no pun intended, for like 50 years.
Yeah.
And now 50, 60 years, and now it's all starting to come up. But it's crazy to think that we didn't know, we didn't know in the 1950s that dumping like these toxic chemicals into the ocean was probably going to be bad for us.
I mean,
Did we really not know that?
We thought smoking cigarettes and taking ecstasy was medication.
Well, those were also really cool.
Don't forget
how
Coke
cool how cool those were too, buddy. You don't know it looked cool putting off those big old DDT cans off of a barge.
Yeah.
No one was doing that because the kids were doing it.
No Instagram pic of
God. Oh, it's funny we're laughing about it because it's probably going to kill us all.
Great. And with that in mind, you want to go to a beach anytime soon? Here's a few you might want to consider. They are the top-ranked shores across the country, according to travel expert Dr. Beach. So I'm just going to tell you the top one, and that is Hapuna Beach State Park on Hawaii's Big Island, known for its crystal blue waters and white sand. And he said that feels the most like paradise. Got a few in the middle of the country. Oahu gets another one. But in California, Coronado. Coronado and San Diego made the list.
Wow, so HB is not even nowhere around there, huh?
Nope, not in the top, according to Dr. Beach.
Well, Dr. Beach doesn't love toe rings. I think that's what we've found.
Yeah.
He's not a fan of the toe rings, but don't ask to see his internet search history. That's all I'll say. We're going to take a break. When we come back, something weird about pinkies. Why are they called pinkies?
I hate that we're doing this story.
I love that we're doing this
story. Pinky toes or pinkies?
I think whatever floats your boat, buddy.
Okay, all right.
Rings, otherwise.
Plus, Robert is going to teach us a little language.
Oh,
is it the language of love?
Oh, oui.
No, he's got to go to the bathroom.
Sorry. Okay, we'll be right back. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much. Check out all the other videos in the 5 Live playlist. Until after the break, we'll see you next time.